Whoever just said in the chat that my video card is acting up, they're not that far off. It's my webcam that wouldn't turn on for the last hour. So, it would have been like radio. I still could have done the show, but it would have been exactly like doing radio. You would have heard me, but you wouldn't have been able to see me. And, I mean, come on. The whole reason why I do a show on YouTube is so that you guys can see my lovely face. I mean, I'm correct in assuming that that's why most of you tune in, right? Because it's not because you like you know, it's not because you like the ambiance of the room or anything like that. You like my beautiful face. At any rate, folks, we are back live for the Saturday edition after a week and a half hiatus. Glad to be back. Contact info as usual. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 70_NDC. On Gab and Minds at Sam Whitfield. Facebook.com/Whitfield Report. TheSamWhitfield.com. Subscribe to the audio podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever else you get your podcast from. And thanks for subscribing and liking the video as always. And yeah, folks, for those of you who didn't tune into the audio podcast last week, the reason why there was no show on Saturday last weekend, I was actually in northern Michigan visiting my grandmother, who is 90 years old this year. So I wasn't able to go out there around her birthday because it was in March and I was in the middle of school, obviously then. So I took a trip up to Michigan this past weekend, saw her, and I had a good time. When you have grandparents, or I guess parents for some of you who are in their 90s, you just never know, how much longer you're going to have them. So, I just wanted to take some time to go up there and spend some quality time with my grandmother, and I did, and it was good to get away from the news cycle, although as predicted, whenever I go on vacation, news seems to break, and obviously Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide last weekend. So even though he was on 24-hour suicide watch, he somehow managed to pull that one off. So I did a podcast on Thursday about Epstein, and there's not a whole lot to go over, because at this point a lot of it is speculation, but I think someone or some cabal got to him. It doesn't really seem like he grew a conscience and just decided to off himself. But there is one notion that I do want to dispel. I don't think that the Clintons killed him specifically. I think, probably in all honesty, it was Hollywood that did him in. Let's face it, the Clintons at this point, ladies and gentlemen, really don't have that much to gain from whacking Epstein at this point in the game. I think if they had wanted Epstein dead, they would have killed him years ago. The theory that I've read on some conservative blogs and on Facebook and whatnot is that Epstein knew where the Clintons' bodies were buried and whatnot. Like, somehow for some reason the theory on Facebook seems to be that Bill and Hillary told Epstein where the bodies were buried and whatnot, and we're like joking around about how they killed various people like Vince Foster, and yeah, folks, the Clintons are dumb enough to tell Epstein just out in the open, even on the island, yeah, we killed so and so, and hey, why don't you keep that secret for the next 20 years? So I do believe that the Clintons have had people killed. I just don't think they had Epstein killed, and they certainly wouldn't have told Epstein where the bodies were buried. Yeah. Well, El Jefe brings up a good point. Princess Chelsea has a future in politics. They need to protect the brand still. I mean, that could be possible, but oddly enough, just from talking to some students on my campus who are pretty far left, and I mean they're not like Antifa level left, but they're pretty far on the left, and they know my politics, and somehow we managed to get like along okay to where we can talk to each other. But Chelsea is not far left enough for a lot of people on the new left. The Clintons are kind of seen as establishment Dems, so Chelsea is really going to have to do some major pandering to the left to attract the new wave of millennial left insurgents. And speaking of retarded leftists, there's been a breaking story this afternoon, which I do want to cover a bit here. So let's go to cut the crap. I love pop-ups whenever you go into Fox News or CNN. But anyway, folks, let's go here to Fox News. Headline: Portland police declares civil disturbance amid clashes after far-right, far-left rallies, at least 13 arrested. Police in Portland, Oregon declared a civil disturbance Saturday evening as members of far-right groups and far-left members of Antifa continued to skirmish hours after conducting dueling demonstrations in the center of the city. Just after 4:30 p.m., Portland Police Bureau spokesperson Lieutenant Tina Jones said that anyone gathered near the intersection of Southwest Park Avenue and Southwest Morris and Street must now leave the area immediately. Jones added that the number of demonstrators was dwindling to about 400 people from a peak of around 1,200 people. Authorities said at least 13 people were arrested, but did not immediately release further details. Earlier in the day, police tweeted images of weapons as seized from multiple groups, including bear spray. Interesting. Shields and metal and wooden poles. Police said one injured person was taken to a local hospital, but no further information about the victim was released. 5 others have been evaluated by Portland fire medics. All the injuries were considered to be minor. Another individual was treated for a medical condition unrelated to the demonstration, Jones said. Jones also said that there had been limited interactions between individuals and called witnesses to submit information about potential criminal activities to the police. Flag-waving members of the Proud Boys and the Three Percenters militia groups began gathering late in the morning, some wearing body armor and helmets. Meanwhile, black-clad, helmet and mask-wearing Antifa members were also among the several hundred people on the streets. The groups gathered on both sides of the Willamette River, which runs through the city. Authorities used sound trucks and loudspeakers to remind the demonstrators of both sides to stay out of the streets or they would be arrested. They also set up concrete barriers and closed the streets and bridges in an effort to contain and separate the rival group. Roughly 700 law enforcement officials from local, state, and federal agencies, including the FBI, were in the city for the right-wing rally, which was expected to draw people from across the country. Portland police said that all the city's 1,000 law officers would be on duty for the gathering that was hyped to be on social media and elsewhere for weeks. So I have a question here, ladies and gentlemen, and by the way, can you guys see me still, because my lower third camera is showing up as just like a blank screen. But anyway, so one quick question here I have to ask. Why do conservative, or I guess right-wing groups in this case, want to hold rallies in Portland at this point in the game? Right? I mean, Portland is a leftist stronghold. I mean, I get the appeal of kind of going into enemy area, but at this point it doesn't seem very viable. And I mean, obviously there are a lot of left-wing cities out there, but I mean, geez, it just seems like some of these groups could do a lot better than picking Portland as their meeting places for some of these rallies. It's almost like they intentionally want these it's almost like they want these demonstrations to get out of hand, almost. And yeah, I mean, Apex, you're right. IRL shit posters. I mean, and like I said, I get that, and I mean that brings my other point. I saw some tweets from like some right winger, from some Proud Boy individuals being like, why does Antifa keep harassing us? How dare they, and whatnot. And it's like, well, you did decide to hold this rally in Portland. Don't expect a warm welcome. Obviously, if you're going to go in Portland, you're probably going to get harassed by Antifa. So, and it's been like that for years and years and years now. So, It seems like trolls are getting bored with Apex Gamma says it seems like trolls are getting bored with the internet and are going out IRL to troll the libs. I mean, you're probably right, and that's fine that they do that. I have enough interactions with enough of the left out in public anyway. I don't need to provoke them IRL. Um, I'm happy to just keep doing my show here and talking to you fine folks. And obviously if they want to try and harass me in real life, that's another case. But I'm not going to go out there and intentionally provoke them into harassing me in IRL. If they want to have a civilized conversation, that's one thing. But yeah. OJ White says I'm getting bored with Sims. Sure. Well, of course you are. It's just a plain white hello. Maybe I'll show off my new shirt that I've got from from that I ordered while I was out of town. But anyway, back to the article. So I just had to go off on that little side tangent there. Not all who gathered Saturday were with the white right-wing groups or Antifa. Also in hand were people dressed in colorful outfits, and those who attended a nearby prayer service holding signs that had slogans such as "No Trump, No NRA." Oh, well, obviously we know which side they were on. Police formed a physical barricade beneath the Morrison Bridge in Tomahawk Waterfront Park to separate the rival groups from sparring. The Proud Boys and their supporters were on the south side of the divide, while the counter-protesters remained on the north side, according to reports by their Oregonian. Trump threatens. Okay. KPTV and the Oregonian reported that some of the demonstrators began to leave in the early afternoon, with authorities briefly reopening the Hawthorne Bridge to allow them to pass. Police used officers on bikes and in riot gear to prevent members of Antifa from following them. The Oregonian reported that a group of left-wing demonstrators attacked a bus carrying a group of Proud Boys out of downtown Portland, breaking some windows. The Proud Boys contacted the units on the ground, saying that they wanted to leave, so we facilitated for them to leave the area. Multnomah County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Brennan White told the newspaper. Well, that's pretty racist that they have a guy named Brennan White on the force, right? It wasn't planned, it was orchestrated. We had a request that they would like to leave the area, so we facilitated. Later in the afternoon, the Oregonian also reported that a group of left-wing counter-demonstrators had surrounded two people wearing American flag-themed clothing and were taunting, threatening, and chasing them. Among those attending the demonstration was Patriot Prayer's Joey Gibson, oy vey, who organized similar rallies in 2017 and 2018 that erupted in clashes. Gibson surrendered Friday on an arrest warrant for felony rioting, but was released on bail hours later. I'm just here for the ride, Gibson told the Oregonian. Organizer Joe Biggs told the paper that the demonstrators wanted national attention, and we got it. Go look at Trump's Twitter, Biggs said. He talked up Portland. He's watching Antifa. That's all he wanted. Mission success. President Trump tweeted Saturday morning that he is considering designating Antifa a domestic terrorist group. Pardon me, President Trump, but didn't you say that like a few years ago? That you wanted to designate Antifa National Terrorist Group at the after the Charlottesville riot? I'm just saying it you said you wanted to designate Antifa terrorist group before POTUS. So rather than talk about it, just do it. I know that Nike is a little bit of a faggot company right now, but instead of just talking and designating Antifa as a terrorist group, just do it. Yeah. Joshua Roger says he cannot just executive order that, Sam. Well, I mean, that didn't stop Obama from executive ordering everything. So this would be the one thing that I would executive order. But anyway, major consideration is being given to naming Antifa an organization of terror, Trump said. Portland is being watched very closely. Hopefully the mayor will be able to properly do his job. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler implored Biggs to think about the millions of dollars in taxpayer money used to provide resources and security to major protests. He said it in a press conference Saturday. Wheeler also said that Biggs' rhetoric stokes an environment of fear nationally. We do not want him here in my city, period, Wheeler says. Well, yeah, obviously you don't, you lefty. Wheeler's message was similar to his warning to protesters on both sides of the demonstration. We don't want your hatred, we don't want your violence. But if you come here, we're going to be prepared, he said in an interview on Fox News' Outnumbered Overtime on Friday. Again, when it comes to enforcement of our community standards, we support people's right to demonstrate, but we don't care about who you are or your politics are. If you engage in violence in this city, you will be held accountable. be associated. Okay. So, Antifa is on the, Antifa is at it again, ladies and gentlemen. Whoop-de-doo. So, don't you just love that? That, Antifa is back? So... And what is future nobody doing here, saying that he wants to kick people in the nuts? we know that future nobody does it. The future nobody doesn't kick people in the nuts. I think you misspelled kiss, future nobody. But I don't know. Oh, good. Now that Johnny is here, I can get into the weird news. So also OJ's white Bronco is lying. I did not get a belly button piercing while on vacation. I did get a haircut though. So I did get a few new rings though in terms of jewelry. Yeah, I know OJ's white Bronco is flirting. He's flirtatious like that. So but now we can get on to the more interesting news. We can get into the interesting news story that I know that you all probably came here for and didn't even realize that you came here for. This actually popped up on my news feed like 10 minutes before I began the program from CNN, and it's interesting. So, unfortunately, we have to go to CNN, and I don't want to see. Yeah, I don't want to see Anderson Cooper's face. So, let's get rid of that pop-up, shall we? Okay. Oh, I hate it when yeah. Okay. Finally. Let's headline. A Welsh town will install anti-sex toilets that spray users with water. I'm not joking, folks. This is an actual news story. This is not a satire. This is an actual news story. CNN. A Welsh seaside town plans to install public toilets with measures to prevent people having sex inside, including a squealing alarm, the doors shooting open, and a chilly spray of water. Porthcrawl on Wales' southern coast plans to replace its Griffin Park public toilets with models that deter inappropriate sexual activity and vandalism, as the Press Association reports. According to Wales Online, the toilets will cost Porthcrawl Town Council €170,000, or about $200,000, while users will pay an as yet undetermined fee to access them. Movement movement sensors inside the toilet will respond to violent activity, while weight sensors will be installed to detect will be installed to detect the entrance of more than one person, triggering the deterrent measures. The toilets have also been designed to prevent rough sleepers taking shelter inside. Oh, for the love of God. I I can't. The fact that this is even the fact that this would even be a thing is sad. Uh, the toilet. If a user remains on the toilet for too long, a warning message will play. While lights and heating will switch off. Planning documents also include a high pressure floor and wall washer, which could activate after every use of the toilet or less frequently. An automated 10-minute deep clean process will take place every night. Okay, Johnny, you've got my attention. Okay, I'm looking at the chat now. Someone is saying that let's is your stuff getting is stuff getting reported again? Is Apex's video? Are Apex's videos getting reported again? I did not know this. And no, you're not a dangerette, so that's not gonna that's not that's not gonna happen. So but anyway, yeah. Well, yeah. So is mass. So I have a question here. Is public sex that rampant in Wales that they need to do this? I mean, I guess so, if that's the case. So, jeez, what is it with what is it with Johnny wanting to see my junk tonight? There are plenty of good looking chicks where yeah, Johnny. I don't understand. So um for God's sake. So well, future nobody. I mean, I guess future nobody says I'm in the shower crying while listening to this. Is that is that gay? Well, I mean, I guess if you want to make it gay, it can be gay. The fact that I mean the fact that Johnny Arcade 2 is in here instead of just Johnny Arcade Prime in here is that's pretty gay in and of itself. So I'm pulling my pants. I'm putting my pants back on now after all this talk. So also we have a lady in the chat. So there's that too. um Oh no, the show's not completely derailed, OJ. The show will get back on track. I just can't take this story about I can't take this story about Welsh public toilets very seriously though. Um so I'm gonna need to go to a commercial break real quick. So I'll be right back. We're back. So after a quick commercial break there, and I had to change shirts. So and get a drink of water, and apparently I was being a little too loud for the people in the guest room. So anyway, we're back though. So at any rate, I changed. I actually did get a new T-shirt while I was on vacation. Well, not while I was on vacation, but I I actually got the same shirt that Chris Pratt wore and got called a racist over wearing, which is the "Don't Tread on Me" shirt from the folks at Forged. So uh so wait, am I still muted or no? My mic levels are good. So my mic levels are still showing up as good. So also um also OJ's White Bronco. My I don't know how I should respond. I don't know how I should respond to that. So but Adam, right? So yeah, Antifa, Welsh toilets. What else is in the news? So uh well obviously I'm not going to change on camera. That would be unprofessional. So at least at least in the politics industry. Actually, it would probably be the same as the other industry. So, so, uh, um, anyway, so, well, okay. You want me to show you want me to show you you guys you want me to show you guys dick? Is that what you guys want in the chat? The people listening to this on podcast or on the podcast are going to be like, what is he doing? And don't worry, folks, it's not what you think if you're listening to this. But don't worry, I'm getting everything I'm getting everything ready for you guys. You 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 degenerates. You 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 want to see my you want to see my dick pics? I've got lots of dick pics for you guys. In fact, I've got endless dick pics. So many, in fact. And by dick pics, I told you I had endless dick pics of Dick Cheney. That is. Oh, I never get tired of that. So. Oh. Um. Yep. There's Dick Cheney for you guys. So he does have a real shiny head. I will say that. So so but every once in a while, looking through Google images of Dick Cheney can be quite interesting. So uh so you're welcome. You're welcome, degenerates. Before so before we end the show though tonight, I do want to play a an excerpt from uh Tucker Carlson. A few people mentioned this to me last week. I guess Tucker Carlson is now in hot water again for supposedly saying that white supremacy isn't a big problem in America. Which, newsflash, it's really not actually. In the wake of these, you know, I mean, white supremacy is a problem, but not on the scale that the left thinks it is. So, anyway, this is the controversial clip that got has Tucker Carlson in hot water. So Anyway, cut number 1, clip number 1. Let's roll the tape. And that's not what I was hoping.
Well, good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. Gun control saves lives. That's what they're telling you day and night on CNN. In fact, they're having a town hall meeting tomorrow to tell you some more. Anyone who opposes gun control, they'll tell you, by implication, if not directly, is a bad person, a callous, cruel, probably violent person, someone who doesn't care about the safety of others. Well, last night, a group of progressive activists took that very message to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's home. Here's what they said.
We're at McConnell's house. This think he's about to get some rest. Not if the children that you're kidnapping can't get any rest. Not if families who are getting murdered can't get any rest. Mitch! He's in there nursing.
Wait, so this bitch thinks that Mitch McConnell is kidnapping kids? Seriously? Unbelievable. I'm not really surprised anymore with all of these lefties, but it is what it is.
His little broken arm, he should have broke his little raggedy, wrinkled ass neck. Murder, turtle! Murder, turtle! Just stab the motherfucker in the heart.
Stab him in the heart, break his neck. That's the left's message for Mitch McConnell. They're totally opposed to violence, and that's why they want to kill Mitch McConnell. If you're confused, you haven't been paying much attention lately. Almost everything the left says these days is projection. In almost every single case, they accuse you of exactly what they're doing. And this week was no different. In the wake of 2 horrifying mass shootings, they've been telling us the president is a hater. He's using race to divide us, they scream. It's wrong. Well, they're right about the second part. It's definitely wrong. But using race to divide us, that's a core tenet of the left. Identity politics is the process of dividing people on the basis of immutable characteristics, factors they can't control. And that's what the Democratic Party is at this point. It's an identity politics party. They promise some Americans reparations. They denounce others for their skin color. They call it privilege. The entire country, they'll tell you, is fundamentally racist and therefore evil.
This country was founded on white supremacy, and every single institution and structure that we have in our country still reflects the legacy of slavery and segregation and Jim Crow and suppression, even in our democracy.
We can't be blind to the impact of generations of racism and white supremacy that were written into our laws over centuries.
So they're buffoons. Yes, they are. They're dumb, of course. Do they have any idea what
More of this race virtue signaling is why the Dems will lose in 2020 and Trump will win again. The social justice crap still doesn't work.
Really saying? Probably not. But that doesn't make the cumulative effect any less sinister or damaging. What you're watching, what you saw in those tapes, what you're watching every day, is a systematic effort by the left to undermine the institutions that hold this country together. Chief among those institutions, in this and all societies throughout time, is law enforcement, our justice system. Over the past 25 years, that's been a success story. America's cops have radically reduced crime across this nation. They brought our cities back to life. If you don't know that, you're obviously under 40. Ask anybody who lived in New York City in 1991 what it was like. That person's honest. You'll be grateful for what the cops did. But now, on the basis of no evidence whatsoever, the left is telling us police are racist monsters.
I have challenged our police department to recognize all of the ways in which the uniform has been burdened by racism. We're going to crack down on police brutality aimed primarily at people of color.
Training for police officers on implicit racial bias and procedural justice, because to deny it exists is to deny folks liberty and in many cases life.
How can we continue to lose the lives of unarmed black men in the United States of America at the hands of white police officers? That is not justice.
If you are young and black, you're treated differently because of the color of your skin. I don't believe that it's just a case of a few bad apples. I believe that the system is broken.
Imagine if you were a cop, or your dad was a cop, or your son was, having to sit and watch that slander day after day. Again, on the basis of no evidence, they're saying that. It's disgusting. Dividing us? Oh, yes, they're dividing us. Or how about our thousands of ICE agents working to enforce laws that the Congress passed? The Congress passes the laws and then hires people. It doesn't pay them all that much to enforce their laws. Now Democrats are calling those people Nazis. Good people doing a thankless job that we need to have done, only to have some pampered moron like Ocasio-Cortez savage them for political reasons. None of this is new, by the way. 3 years ago, you remember, Hillary Clinton ran an entire presidential campaign on this premise, attacking the country itself and its people as immoral bigots.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
That, ladies and gentlemen, that moment right there was when I knew that Trump would pretty much win the election. You can't call half the country racist and expect to win the election. So, and Agrobiscuit, I don't think Tucker is going to get replaced by Shapiro on Fox News. For one, Shapiro is doing fine over at the Daily Wire, and I think he's not going to want to leave that. If Tucker does leave Fox News, I'm betting he'll start his own website or venture, pretty much what every commentator does now when they leave a media organization like Fox or a bigger outlet. So but I think Fox will still keep Tucker around. So I'm not real in the long run. I don't think that'll be a problem.
That's a message of unity? No. It's a message of disunity. It's a message of hate, actually. Think through the implications of it. Racist, sexist, xenophobic. What do you do to people like that? You try and help them? You feel like they're your countrymen, your brothers? No. They're horrible. You try to destroy them. And they are trying to destroy them. Yesterday, Texas Democratic Congressman Joaquin Castro, we're not making this up, by the way, tweeted out the names of 44 residents of San Antonio who've donated to Donald Trump's presidential campaign. Illegal activity. But he tweeted them out, and then he tweeted out the names of their employers, too. Why do you think he did that? You know the answer. How'd you feel tonight if you were one of those people? Would you feel safe? No, you wouldn't. That's fine with Congressman Castro, though. His point is really clear. You know exactly why. If someone gets hurt, that's not his problem. You can see where this is going. It wasn't that long ago that the Boston Globe ran an op-ed suggesting that restaurant workers poison the food of Trump supporters. And, of course, Democrats have been calling on people to harass and scream at people tied to the Trump administration for years, they've been saying.
Go to the Hill today. Get up and please get up in the face of some Congress people.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
So yes, these people are buffoons. And it's our fault sometimes, if we're being honest, including this show, for highlighting what buffoons they are. Because by doing that, we underplay how dangerous their rhetoric is. Our democratic system only works when citizens are free to disagree, free to say to their neighbors, we're on separate pages, we vote for separate people, and not be afraid to say that. But the left is making us afraid to say that. The left demands total conformity. They don't believe in diversity in any sense. They'll use censorship and threats to keep people in line. And in the short term, that may work. They're hoping it works till next November. But over time, big mistake. It's exactly how things fall apart.
Yeah, I think Tucker's spot on. So that wasn't the clip that actually got him, you know, I guess, put on vacation. But that was one of the ones leading up. So anyway, and yeah, Tucker is not a fan of Owen. I can guarantee that. Speaking of, Owen's main channel isn't on, or I guess it is still on YouTube, but Owen took all of his content off of his main channel. So, you know, there is that now. So, but, alright, folks, well, I want to thank you for tuning in to the Whitfield Report Saturday edition, the main show. If I can figure out how to, get, like, a live panel going, I will figure out how we can have, like, a room wax, you know, stream. But, other than that, have a good night, ladies and gentlemen, and, God bless and God save this great nation. God freedom, legacy in that order, and I will see you on the next edition of the Whitfield Report. Oh, also, I will be doing some guest appearances on some other podcasts this week, so be on the lookout for that. And from all of us here at NGC1, have a good night, God bless, and God save this great nation. So.